dive back into it. For those joining us for the first time, this is part two to the interview we had last year. We spoke about kickboxing,
Yep.
Enter the Dragon, your studies, and we were more or less doing a follow up. So last time around, when
Mm.
we spoke, you mentioned that you wanted to release Enter the Dragon late December last year or early Jan this year. I want to start off there to kind of figure out what happened more or less, you know?
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. So what happened is my producer is quite busy with other projects,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't had the time to fully just like let me, for lack of a better term, lock in on my project
Okay.
and complete the tracks. So I didn't want to rush him and be like, "Yo, man, I'm trying to get this project out in Jan." I'd rather just be patient and allow the the project to kind of develop itself.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
that's why I decided to kind of take a step back and
mhm.
release singles um, for the upcoming album.
Fair enough. It makes sense. I was just curious about that because I was
Yeah, I'm,
remember
I'm glad
hearing that.
you pointed it out, Joe. You remembered that.
Yeah, no, I remembered because I was curious at the start of the year. Like I remember you mentioned the album's supposed to come out soon, and then didn't hear much buzz. But I saw you've been posting again recently. You released the official single for the album last month.
Mm,
Was it the 24th, if I'm not mistaken?
24th, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I love the single. It's fresh.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So with the extra time that you've had compared to the original release date, I'm sure there's been a couple of changes in what you more or less plan with the album. Just naturally going through
Mm.
life, you might see new things or experience different experiences. I would like to know, like, how has that shaped or changed you since last time around? You know, how's it changed the vision of the album?
I like to say it's kind of made me take more risks
Okay.
because I honestly I didn't want to drop the single. I wasn't like prepared to drop the single, but I was like why continue pushing the date further?
Yeah.
Rather just like put the single out and then now it's like you know it's out there and you have to kind of like execute. So I guess my perspective on waiting has changed. Going through life for the past, I think, 9 months.
Yeah.
It's allowed me to delve deeper into me, right? Continue working on the project,
Mm-hmm.
trying to touch with my roots, right? Instead of, I'll say, the language of the music has changed. So at first it was primarily English. Now it's like switched. Now I have Vanek. Now I have Shona. Now I have all these other elements that um, have become little seeds and started to grow throughout creating the project
Okay.
and delaying it.
What inspired you to add the vernac and stuff like that?
I would say my fellow brother, homie, Shua,
Mm-hmm.
he dropped Afrobat tapes and he is like very Afro, he is very African and he knows how to put in the Afrikaans, the elements that make him authentic. And I thought I've been trying so long to kind of like be a certain rapper and not be myself.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me be me. Right? Let me take all these languages that I know how to speak, and I think that adds to me being unique as a rapper.
Very true, you know. End of the day, your music should project a bit of who you are. At the end of the day, when
Mhm.
people are listening to your songs, they should get like a sense of like this is a cozy song, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Question. Last we spoke, you did mention that you are
Mm.
not originally from Cape Town and you moved there from Zim, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah. That's right.
W- Would you say that there's elements of Zim and the culture that side that you've brought into the album? And if so, in what way?
I'll say the language is a big aspect to what I've decided to bring into the album,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been listening to some music from Zim, so maybe that will subconsciously inspire me
Yeah.
to layer my vocals a little differently. And I mean, the album is still in the process, so I think there will definitely be elements from home, right? Because I can't really
Home is home.
take that out. Yeah.
No facts. Okay. That makes sense. Um, what is the official language of Zen? I don't know the name of the official language.
I think there's like two. I'm not sure. Is there two? Oh, there's one. It's Shona.
Shona.
So definitely it's not a tribe. Okay, there's one. It's
Oh,
Shona.
no, didn't know that. Okay, now just curious about that as well as for any of the audience out there that's not too familiar, you know, it'd be interesting to know. Um, okay, so I've noticed since the last time we spoke, there is a visual difference in Kozee himself. The signature hair is chopped
Yeah,
off. What inspired that? Like, what made you switch things up?
I I wanted to change, man. I felt like I was no longer this person with dreads. I no longer kind of mentally represented that anymore.
Okay.
And even though I did tell myself like, yo, I'm gonna have my dreads long, I'm gonna grow them long and what, like it just happened. I was like, I don't see myself like having dreads in the future. So I kind of like, what's the word for it? Like wait,
Why
right?
delay it?
Rather just do it now. Yeah, delay it.
Okay.
And obviously also from just life experiences, from relationships, and yeah, man,
Speaking of,
wanting change.
speaking of, you have been posting quite a bit recently about life experiences and what you've been reading, different from your music on your YouTube channel. I've
Mm,
noticed you've been talking about bringing in more of a positive energy and a positive message. Like the last time that
yeah.
we had our interview, you've always said that's something you've aimed towards. I'm curious to know like what motivated the recent decisions to talk about like the books you're reading and how people should view life differently compared to just being more passive, you know?
I think that shift is it really took place after I had a breakup with my girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
I realized like it kind of like put me back onto my purpose, and maybe that's making music and spreading a positive message. But I think the underlying lesson I learned is for me to become a better person. and through that is obviously be more successful in my endeavors to take more risks and realize that failure is a part of the process
Yeah.
when going through life. And then also realize like I don't really care what everybody thinks.
Yeah, man. Everyone's gonna have
You
their
gotta
opinions.
exactly. Everyone's gonna have an opinion on what you should be, what you should do. So I decided I'm gonna do what I want to do, which is pursue success, and through that continue helping people who might share the same ideals as I do. And yeah, your question was
About the
what
positive message and the change in your YouTube channel, like adding in that element.
yeah, and I wanted to connect to people also more visually. I think the music was also kind of like limiting myself
You wanted to add in a new
to
dimension.
I wanted to create the brand. I think it's something that has been missing maybe in my music.
Oh, that's fair. I was actually really pleasantly surprised to see that because I've been thinking myself that I want to share more of a positive message actually on the Brainy Babble channel, like speaking beyond just the interviews. Like, I feel we live in a time where there's a lot of negativity going around, especially on social media. And if you've seen the stats on like unemployment in the country, it's at a record high. Like, there's so many negative things going on. So to see that was actually really inspiring. It made me think more about sending a positive message, and I just want to say shout out to you for that, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for checking it out. I really appreciate it.
You really speak
And
on.
speaking on,
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say, speaking on the positive message, I just saw a video. I watched a video earlier, and it was talking about the negative, um, how people are just drawn to negativity, right? And everything around us is always like directing us to focus on like negative things.
Yeah.
And when you do get like a little success or positive, like people don't really care as much about it than when you fail.
Very true.
Everybody wants to talk about it. So that was interesting that you brought that up.
We need more positivity, and I'm really glad to see that you're bringing that in to the world. You know, I've
I'm looking
noticed.
forward to yours.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Uh, don't know which direction I'm gonna go with it, but I'll definitely let you know once I've started. Wanted to speak
No,
on the one of the books that you mentioned was Ikigai. It's a Japanese book, if I'm not mistaken, like a Japanese word, Ikigai. I forgot the original meaning of it, but it's not my first time coming across it. And I wanted to know what inspired you to actually pick that book to talk on.
I've actually not fully read that book, but what I was referring to by ikigai is it means, I think, working towards something with meaning, like purpose. And the book is actually in the dojo that I train,
Oh,
and the dojo restaurant is called Ikigai.
oh, that's cool.
And then that's why I came up with the idea. But I have read a couple of some of the chapters of Ikigai, and it really just talks about well-being, gives you ideas and tips to like a healthy lifestyle, a healthy mindset, um, just along the lines of, I guess, a successful life.
Yeah.
But I guess why I chose um, the book is because I'm into reading books that help me develop as a person. And I want to share those books that I think will um, help somebody else maybe go read them. for themselves.
Of course.
Um, yeah.
I'm glad. I've always had a feeling that when you come across a good piece of information, that it shouldn't be kept to oneself. Like that's very selfish, you know? Why not share that
Mm.
information with others? So I'm glad that you actually have been discussing different books and your takes
Have you read
on.
the book?
Not yet. It was recommended to me though. When I saw you speak
For
on it,
sure.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I'll start like actually like putting like a section in the description for people like to access like an online version or something.
That would be really helpful. From the different books that you have been reading and interacting with, uh, just want to know like which message has stuck out to you the most that you really want to share with people. Like, yeah,
I think is the biggest message I think for most of the books I would say is what's helped me is a message about failure. And our failure is all an illusion. It's like it's all in your mind. Like you never really fail when you're attempting something great. Because whenever you do fail, it's not really failure because you get a lesson from it. And from that lesson you can then not give up and go on to try again and most likely succeed, maybe fail, but still it's never really failure because it's a lesson. So failure is just an illusion, it's a lesson. And stop being scared of of failing and take the risk if you really want it.
so you want people to reframe the idea of not exactly getting what they want out of it, is what I'm hearing, you know? Like, if you don't necessarily get the goal or achieve exactly what you want, you can take that lesson and do better next time, if I'm
Yeah,
understanding
definitely.
correctly. It's a positive spin on it, you know? Not enough people do that. They just seem to quit really quickly.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
it's not nice to fail. Obviously, it's not a great experience, but um, it's like it's like talking to a girl, like walking up to her and asking her out, like and she says no. It's like there's like more girls out there that you can you
Plenty
can
of fish
ask
out
out.
there. No facts. No. One of the things you did speak on in one of your latest videos is that people really need to desire what they want more, you know? I think it's speaking more to that.
Desire, yeah, an obsession, to really want it,
Mm.
and like a drowning man wants his next breath, and that's the only way you can actually achieve anything. I think is when you want it more than anything because you know that you're not going to give up.
Yeah. I feel like
And
I
I don't
f-
know what do you think about desire, bro?
I like that message because I feel like it really links with the idea that you mentioned previously of not just viewing failure as taking an L, but rather it being a lesson. You know, like if you truly desire something, you're automatically going to try and shift it that way, you know? The more you desire something, you're not just gonna quit so soon.
Yeah,
So I feel like the two really do go together, like hand in hand.
it's like a fire. You're just gonna keep on adding like more wood, and
Yeah,
keep it burning.
keep the passion there.
Yeah, I think it's almost like passion, like desire, in a sense. It's like an aspect.
How would you recommend that someone does that, you know? It's easy to say, but it's not always easy to follow through.
What do you mean? How would I recommend? Like a practical
Yeah,
way?
like it's easy for somebody to just say that, you know what, you should just keep going, you should stick to it. And let's say someone's been at the same task for a long time, because typically what happens, like people go through something for like, let's say 6 months, and they can see
Mm,
that the plan's not working. How do they maintain their desire, maintain the passion instead of letting it die?
6 months working on a goal. I think sometimes, or most times, the goal doesn't necessarily take 6 months. You know, the goal is like you always think, okay, it's gonna take me like a year to like do this, but it ends up actually taking you like maybe 2 years or 1.5 years. So I think being consistent, regardless of seeing the results, is one way to not give up, right? It's one way to keep the desire going. And having that burning obsession towards that goal for 6 months. So discipline, consistency. I think for me, my music, I've been working for it for like, I don't know, it's about 8 years, but I mean, I only started taking it seriously like maybe 3 years ago. But now I've kind of like removed the goal of I wanna make it, I wanna blow up when I'm like this, when I'm like 25 or 26 or 27, and I've decided to just give the best that I can on a consistent basis for as long as it takes. Like remove like the finish line. I mean, like I'm just gonna go until I cross the finish line. Like remove the date of the finish line. So that's the example that I can share on
From what I'm understanding,
practically.
from what I'm understanding, it's to remove the particular dates in the roadmap, but to still keep the roadmap itself.
Yeah, what I've heard is it's the person you become on the journey as well. It's not always about the actual attainment of the goal, but it's the development of your character, your values, your personality, and whatnot.
Speaking of,
And I'll say, yeah, yeah. Go
how
ahead.
would you say the journey of music has developed you as a person?
Hey, look at me! I'm dropping YouTube videos, man.
Fair. That's fair.
It's made me like the longer it's taken, it's made me kind of like focus on why I want to be successful in music, like why I want my message to reach more people. Right? It's allowed me to like zone in to those specific aspects of my music. Maybe it's hope, maybe it's faith, maybe it's love, maybe it's purpose. So it's kind of given me time to kind of carve out my message. And then over time, I think that's also just made me think differently about other things.
Would you say it's made you more intentional with everything you're doing?
Exactly.
That's very important. You speak a lot on the music that you're doing in terms of adding in the different languages that you know, or you also speak on your dojo, you speak on like your breakup and then going through your own personal journey. I want to know, what role does community play in the process? Like having people around you.
Community.
Yeah. Like you've also named your last mixtape Ward 58, which is not just somewhere that you stay, but there's other people there too, you know? I always get this sense of remembering community and where you came from whenever we chat.
That's a good question, bro. Community. I don't think I've ever like thought about it like that because I guess I've always believed that you need, like, people should support each other.
Yeah.
And I think the dojo has supported me in, like, teaching me how to take a punch. Or sometimes, like, telling me, hey, your ego is too inflated. Like, it's causing you to, like, stumble in the drills, right? And kind of help me correct myself again and, like, humble myself and realize, I'm a student. Like, I want to be a student because I want to learn from these people and take as much knowledge that I can to become better.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the community has helped me to frame my ideas.
Yeah.
But sometimes I kind of like push away the community. I won't lie, bro, because I know some people think people think differently, man. And sometimes people will kind of instill their beliefs on you without you kind of being aware, right?
There's a balance.
Because they're doubtful. Yeah, there's balance. So it's like kind of like taking what I need from the community and then working with that and then like making sure that what I don't want, I kind of like stay away from.
That's fair. It makes sense. You speak a lot
And I'm
on you.
also learning. Yeah, you go on.
No, sorry. You're still speaking. Sorry.
No problem.
I was just gonna say you speak a lot about your dojo. Wanted to know more about that. Like, how's that been going? Because last we spoke, you said you started going to the dojo after your breakup.
Yeah, it's been fun, bro. It's like now, but almost close to. It's gonna be 2 years in Feb,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I've had my first kind of like sparring match, and I felt like the aggressiveness of another person, like in a contained box, and mentally I've been sharpened. Physically, I'm staying fit, and I think it's just made me a stronger person as well. I've also started jiu-jitsu, something I was very uncomfortable doing in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's fun.
I'm glad.
It's kind of taught me to know that life is gonna hit you in the face. Think about the dojo.
Yes.
And I mentioned how I was doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, and it's me mentally, physically.
You're coming in on 2 years in Feb, as you said. That's quite the bit of time to be going through the dojo experience. Is it something you'd recommend for others?
Definitely, bro. How are you gonna protect your girlfriend, man?
Okay.
And it's just fun because I think it's like it's a space, an environment to find people who kind of think like you. You know what I mean? If you want to go find creatives, you go to like a show or a creative event, and then I think if you want to get people who kind of think differently about wanting to succeed or being obsessed, you go to where there's a lot of failure involved. Like, so I think it's great for all the guys out there. You gotta learn how to fight.
What about the ladies?
There is like one lady at the dojo. She's great. So I think ladies, you should. I mean, not really go there, but if you want to, you can.
Is there anything you could say that sticks out to you from the dojo experience that is like your favorite part about it?
I think it's the banter.
Okay, that's interesting.
The jokes we make there. It's really unfiltered. Like, cause my coach is old school, so like these new ideas, these Gen Z ideas, like it's like weird to him, you know. So
Yeah.
he makes like jokes to the to the lady girl who's training there, like, hey, you know, you should be like mopping the floor, and you know, kind of jokes like that. It's just,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's all fun and jokes.
No. It's
So learning how to just laugh.
no the old school element. It's definitely something that I feel it has its value. You know,
Mm,
I feel a lot of people are a bit soft these days,
yeah,
and you can't be soft
exactly.
in a dojo. You gotta learn to take a punch.
Nah, you can't be, bro. We're gonna make fun of you if you're soft.
Oh, facts. You remind me of my karate days. Back in the day when I was young, I did karate.
I think you did mention that on the last part one. You
Yeah,
mentioned you did karate.
yeah. It's been too long. Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah, you should get back into it, bro.
I should. I should. I always
But you
say
work out,
this.
though. You work.
Yeah.
You were saying about getting back into karate.
No, I say a lot of the time to myself that I should get back into it, but for some reason I haven't. I need to go for it. No.
Yeah.
Okay. I also have my notes on the side here from the last episode. So I just want to turn to look at it quickly. I have here that you listed your top MCs as J. Cole, K. Dot, Eminem, and Lil Wayne.
J Cole, K. Dot, Eminem, Lil Wayne. That's four. Is that four?
You named five, but I don't have the fifth one
I
here.
think that one. I think that one was Logic.
Logic, probably.
I'm pretty sure it was Logic.
No, I just wanted to ask if it's still the same list or has it changed over the last year?
I think it's changed definitely. Um, I've had to um, put in Lupe Fiasco there,
Okay.
and I think I'm gonna kick Lil Wayne out and
That's crazy.
put Lupe there. Um,
Yeah.
because at the moment his music has been kind of like speaking to me,
Yeah.
like the lyrics, I like the message, I like the way there's thought behind the music.
Mm.
And I would say for my top five, it's always changing, but there's always like almost the same artist there, but there's always like someone in, someone out,
Yeah.
because I'm always taking inspiration from almost anything I can consume that's good, that's dope.
It's interesting that you've replaced Lil Wayne because last we spoke, when I asked you who could you collab with, like who would you want to collab with, Wayne was your top option.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo, man. Shit, bro. I haven't been listening to Lil Wayne, like his new stuff. Like his old stuff, I know, but like the new stuff, I haven't really gotten the time to consume it, man. I don't know. I think his music has changed so much that
He changed his sound.
yeah, the sound has changed so much that there's so much other good artists out there that are creating great music, man.
How do you feel about artists changing their sound though? Because a lot of fans don't like that, but I never get to speak to an artist about it. I feel like it's a part of the process to change as well. So I'd like to
Yeah,
know your perspective on that.
change is inevitable. And I would like to say an artist has to develop, and I think like as you grow, like we spoke about earlier, with me, like I'm bringing in my shona and my vanek into my music. So technically, that's changing my sound. But I think there has to be a certain element that remains, like a foundation. And I think for the artist, as long as it works for your fans, then I mean, go for it. But me specifically, like I won't like switch genres. I'll still rap.
Okay. Would you say that's your
Um,
foundation?
that's my mission.
I was asking, would you say rap is your foundation?
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Of course, man. I like that message and that rawness of rap.
You mentioned that you brought in old school and new school jazz into your Ward 58.
Mm.
So, if you see rap as your foundation, how do you go about blending the two?
Blending jazz.
Yeah, on your last mixtape. It's like, how do you
It
blend
allowed
it?
me to. It allowed me to like the jazz is so smooth that like my lyrics just cut through on the beats so well because there's not so much musicality going on in the background. And I think for a lot of classic hip hop songs, there's a lot of like samples and jazz in the instrumentals. And I think that was the inspiration is to have some smooth, laid back sounds to rap over. I think it was a perfect cohesion.
No, it definitely works. I'm just interested in like how you went about that. Um,
But the producer really, bro, he's just like, yo, I got this jazz song for listen, check it out. Boom, and I'm like, oh, snap.
who is your producer?
Uh, for the Wall 58, it was my homie Leonard. Right now he's in university. And then right now I'm working with a different producer for the album.
Okay. And when it comes to working with different people, remember you said you haven't collabed with that many people and you're still trying to figure out your sound and who you are before you do too many collaborations. Has that changed or do you still feel that way?
It's I'm open to work with other musicians. Like they normally come to me and say, hey, you want to do this? And I'm like, sure, of course. But I think I still haven't reached that stage of going out there and like trying to collab with other people. Unless it's in like intentional with like for the album, like I'm gonna try and bring a girl on and make a girl female song. A female song is crazy.
A song that appeals to the female audience.
Because some of the hip hop stuff I'm listening to, there's some vocals and some ladies singing. So I was like, oh, let me bring this vibe. It's dope. So really, I'm like collabing with the girls, and the guys not so much.
Is there particular artists that are inspiring you for the upcoming album?
I've listened to like so much different music, but I'll say specifically Absol and yeah, man. I think that's that. Like towards the end of the project, because now I'm like kind of like finalizing the songs. That's like
When do you expect to be ready, or do you wanna keep that to you for now?
I'm gonna drop the album January 2026. That should be plenty of time to get my act together.
That's fair. That's fair. How would you recommend people reach out to you if they wanted to collab or they want you to perform?
I would say make dope music and follow me on my socials and like just reach out, man. Like network. Don't be afraid to send a DM, man. Because I do that all the time. I try and network with other artists who are great and are dope in what they're doing. And like just continue being consistent to make dope music.
Yeah. Would you recommend they reach out to you on Instagram if they wanted you to perform somewhere?
Yeah. Reach out to me on Instagram, bro. Get your bag. Get your bag. You gotta pay me now, man. I'm tired of performing for free, man.
The bills don't pay themselves.
I'm kidding. I'm oh, you kind of like stop for a second.
Sorry, the Wi-Fi acts up sometimes. You were saying, sorry.
No, I was just saying, man. I work with people that it makes sense to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where have you been performing as of recently?
My last performance was Obscene Parrot, which was yesterday with the network. And then before that, I haven't performed for like, I think over like 2-3 months. 4.
Why the long break?
Working on the album, working on my mindset, working on business. And I'm running like a startup that I'm working on. So I'm trying to fail as much as possible with that.
Get
And
the lessons as early
yeah.
as possible.
And I've been in the dojo and I've also been at school. So music, I've been working like behind the scenes
How would
because I
you?
think that's
How have
that's
you
why
been?
I'm needed.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
I think the network is affecting our speaking time. I was just gonna ask, how are you balancing everything?
Bro, I have a timetable, bro. I have a schedule that I write down every week, and I make sure I like check the checklist. That's how I balance everything.
Would you say it's a strict schedule, or do you give yourself a break from time to time? Like,
I mean, like it's like not really as like 8 o'clock do this, 9 o'clock do this. It's more like just get this done throughout the 24 hours you have in the day.
yeah,
So it's always like flexible, I would say.
that's very important. I feel like you always need to leave room for error or life to do its thing.
Exactly. And then sometimes I only like get like one thing done or two, but it's like okay, fine. Tomorrow I'll try to get more things done.
Yeah. You brought up the idea of your startup. Do you want to talk about that a bit? Because I'm not.
Yeah, of course. I'm running a service business for dogs. So I'm into like grooming, walking, watching, and obviously learning how to train young puppies. And then venturing into like not maybe, but venturing into like products like leashes and dog treats. I think it's important for I think us as Africans to create our own set of source of income, right? I think it's important for us to be our own bosses. And then I think that's also what's I think you asked me earlier why what motivated me to start moving towards talking about success and all of this. So that's because I've been failing a lot at that. So that's helped me kind of like also shape my thought process.
Okay. Oh, what inspired you to pick that activity in particular with the dogs?
I was taking care of a family friend's dog like overnight.
Hmm.
And the husband was like, "Hey, why don't you like do dog walking as a side hustle? You're in university, make some side money, and have cash to buy whatever you need." And then that's how the idea started.
How are you finding it? Are you at least enjoying the process?
Yeah, I am. It's very uncomfortable when you try to grow something. I think it's like the same with like a muscle. Like you have to like um, push until failure,
Yeah.
and sometimes you don't see those results that you wanted to see in 6 months. But if you give up, then you're not really ever gonna see those results. So I just have to keep going.
You speak on making sure you keep going. Does it ever come a point where you feel like somebody should just call it, like, or when to know something's not for you, you know?
No,
Okay.
there's no time to know. It depends if what you're doing is like positive and like growing you as a person, then like no, I don't think you should call it. But if whatever you're doing is like destroying your life, then of course like maybe change your maybe just pivot, not change.
Okay.
But it's like I would say, let's say um I were to fail with the stock business, right? I would then like call it, but I would still continue being an entrepreneur.
Mm.
Like it'll kind of like help me move on to the next thing, but I still have the same experiences that I've learned doing this. So you kind of like calling it, but actually like not really calling it.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense what you're saying. I guess I wasn't clear enough in my question. It's like, when do you know that it's time for you to pivot to something else?
I think if you're not seeing growth over like 6 months is quite a long time to not see growth. But I think even like 2 months, like any slight of growth, like if you're just stagnant and not moving anywhere for like 2 months, then it's like maybe try a different idea.
Yeah. Come back to the drawing
Like I
board.
think what I can share with early in my like startup is I had these flyers that didn't work that I made, and they never like converted to anything for at least a year. And I kind of like gave up on the idea, but and then I got to a point where I was like, wait, I don't want my mom to keep on giving me money in cash for like transport or whatever. I'm actually gonna make sure I get my first client.
Mm.
And then I created a new flyer, and I started, instead of like giving other people to, like my dad to give out to his friends or whatever, I went and done it myself. And then I got like my first client.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it doesn't work for a year because the approach of it is wrong, I think.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. You need to get back to the drawing board and see what you could do differently.
Mm.
Okay. That makes sense. Makes sense. Uh, we also spoke on your anime or your appreciation of anime. And as you recognize the poster in the background, I can see you're very passionate about it. Would you say that you have elements of anime in your new music or inspiration from anime?
I think visually there's gonna be some cool things that are gonna be inspired by anime, and I think I've always taken, or now I'm actually able to like I see these ideas from anime, like these really great shonen animes that I sometimes watch that have like these underlying themes of like perseverance,
Mm.
of like continuing to work towards something. And I think that's kind of like subconsciously been highlighted through my music.
And something that I can definitely agree upon because animes typically have that elements of the main character growing or going through the
Mm.
process until they become really powerful at the end. So,
Definitely, bro.
would you say that anime is something you've always appreciated or always been a fan of?
Bro, I've been watching like Dragon Ball Z since SABC2. Since I before I knew anime websites, like
Yeah,
I've been watching it
the good old days, SABC
since.
2,
Yeah, yeah.
classics.
So it's always been a part of me.
So, would you say that's where you not necessarily where you get inspiration to keep going, but like, would you say that it's always been a part of you persevering and you growing?
Definitely, definitely. I think one of the big ones that I watched, the new one is Solo Leveling,
Mm.
which kind of like was like it's kind of similar to having a checklist. Like you see the anime, the main character, he has like the to-do list, like do like 50 push-ups, 100 push-ups. And it shows you like doing consistent work on yourself over time will actually in real life give you the rewards.
Mm. Oh, it
I'm
makes
not sure if you watch Solo Leveling.
I haven't.
Now you need to watch it, bro.
The last anime I watched was My Hero Academia, but that's because I watched it back in high school and then I was revisiting it, especially with the new
Mm.
episodes. I find
Yeah.
myself, I feel like I watch a lot more YouTube these days than TV and series.
True, same here, man.
Yeah, something about it, man. Um, but I'm noticing you have affinity towards a lot of the Asian culture when it comes to the different ideas with the anime, ikigai, your training. You've brought
Mm.
up Bruce Lee in your last interview, how he inspired Enter the Dragon. You mentioned that you want to go to Japan at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Hell yeah.
So my question is like, where has this affinity for the Asian culture come from?
I think it started all from like watching anime, bro. I think that was the starting point. And then over time, uh, I listened to the music that was in the anime, and I liked it. And I think it's been the source of like my interest with Asian culture.
Mm.
I don't know. It's so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words, or I don't know the right word to say about why I like Asian culture.
I feel like with a lot of the stuff you mentioned, because of the stuff like discipline and consistency, like that's something
Mm.
that's very like heavily emphasized. Like if I'm not mistaken, in some of the schools in Asia, like they go to school for like 12 hours a day. You know, like they put a lot of focus on hard work and ethic. So I've just noticed that you always seem to, what do you call it? Not necessarily mention it from the Asian cultures, but you always mention elements that are included in it.
I think I like the style, man. I like the style that they have. Um, Yeah, bro. But 12 hours of school, sheesh. Bro.
That's competitive. That side. It's competitive. Uh, if not mistaken, I think it's in like South Korea where they have these like long exams where you write for hours and hours, right? Like imagine writing all of your subjects in one day.
Yo.
And then if you get 99%, you get accepted to uni. But if you get 98%, you get rejected. Like it's that much of a difference to them.
Mm-mm-mm. I think that's why they always say they're one of the smartest group of people.
They put a lot of focus into discipline and like practicing your craft. You could say they put in at least 100,000 hours compared to 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff. Um, yeah. So I've noticed that you've spoken about bringing in Vanak, and obviously Enter the Dragon is inspired from a lot of Asian elements like Bruce Lee and whatnot. How
Yeah.
have you gone about making it cohesive, making the sounds work together? Because I expect them to be really different from each other.
I think I've laid a foundation of having it boom bap.
Okay.
And then through boom bap, I can then experiment with kind of like different emotions, and then also bring in some of this kung fu vibe to it, and then phew, bringing my own experiences to it, man. Like not exactly using the concept or the Bruce Lee movie.
Mm.
So kind of like taking my own spin and not necessarily focusing on that culture. Just bringing my spin through boom bap, and then obviously maybe playing around with different sounds and kind of like trying to make it cohesive, but also trying to make it sound like you can picture yourself in Asia.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
So you're keeping the core elements while blending it in as best as you can.
yeah, keeping the core elements and then experimenting on
Experimenting is
top of that.
important. And experimenting is very important. It's a part of the process of learning to succeed and fail.
100%.
Yeah, I feel like we've spoken on quite a few of the topics, and from what I'm seeing here, we've covered everything from last time in terms of what do you call it? Like a follow up on the questions. Is there any particular points that you want to bring up?
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I wanted to ask, like, did you get um or what did you get from the Enter the Dragon single? Like, did you manage to like get the Asian vibe with the rap? I don't know how you um, perceive the song.
I'd say that I did get a bit of the Asian vibe. It wasn't the first thought that I exactly pictured, but it was there. Like it was subtle. For me, I got a lot more of the energy, like from your voice, like when you're speaking about Cape Town City.
Yeah,
I could definitely feel the hip hop side was stronger,
definitely.
and it was really good to hear actually, because a lot of the hip hop that we have nowadays is like what do you call it's not the same as it was back in the day. Like when you say Cape Town City, sorry, I'm not good at lyrics, so I just say the from the beginning. But when you said that, I can feel the positive vibe. Like as you've always said, your goal as Kozee, to make people feel good,
Mm.
feel chill, and a lot of the music these days is more, you know, smash his baby mama. I got these whips. It is good to hear a positive message that was
Yeah.
actually fun. There could always be a positive message, but it doesn't land or doesn't, feel hyped up. But I feel like you struck a
Mm.
really good balance with it, and I'm really interested to see how the rest of the project shapes up.
Thank you, man.
It's a beautiful single. For anybody that hasn't listened to it, I highly recommend it. And
Um,
is there anything else about the single or album that you want to ask or talk about?
no, I think you asked like a lot of good questions, a lot of great questions.
I'm glad. I do struggle to find my words sometimes, but I'm glad that you found the questions to be better this time around. I think last time I did stutter a bit, but it's a part of learning, man. Growth. I feel like we've covered quite a bit. Any remarks you want to leave the audience with?
I would say have faith and continue to believe in yourself and continue to push yourself and grow and become a better person.
Yeah, very important. But a good question to have for you is how would you define a better person?
A better person is not destructive towards people around them and really has values and standards that like you mentioned with the music nowadays, like standards that don't kind of like destroy the community.
Yeah, that's scary stuff, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I do like listening to that kind of rap just because it does have that element of, like, I'd say if I'm studying and I just failed my last test, it's like, I'm gonna show them. But I feel like there's a limit to it. You can't consume that all day. You can't let that become who you are. You need aggression, but not too much of it. I feel like martial arts teaches you that. I'm sure you've seen that for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to know when to turn it on and off.
Balance.
Yeah, the yin and the yang. Another.
Yeah, I was literally thinking that.
Yeah, man. You can't have your darkness without light. Now I feel like we've covered quite a bit today, and we spoke about very good topics that I feel a lot of people need to dive deeper into, especially at the end of the day, a positive message, especially in this day and age. Like, there's just so much going off in the world. There's like wars everywhere. There's so many issues out there that it'd be really good if people could just be more positive. And I'm glad I got to speak to you about this. As I said last time around, you are somebody that, without you even telling me that was the goal, as your name, Kozee, I always get that energy from you. You're always a positive guy who lights up the room, and I appreciate that. Keep it up.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me on the Babble podcast.
I appreciate you showing up again. The first time we're having a recurring guest, actually.
Hey, bro, Soldier Boy did not do it first. It's me this time.
You beat him to this one.